Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
All right, we got him. Coach Stone, now we got you. Coach, you there?
Yes, sir.
I thought you were coming in.
Oh, you did you?
That's why I sent you that text that said try to be here at 9:20.
I was like, I figured that meant just to call in. I didn't get the buffet invitation.
Well, that's fine. You know, do you care if we text you to get this? Because if we go the other way, then Matt calls, who's your guy? Who's your guy?
Andrew.
Yeah, he calls him, and then Andrew comes to see you. Then Andrew goes back and tells Matt what he said. Then he calls us. It's just so easier if we just text you or whatever.
That's great with me. It's not like you're dealing with, Joey or Coach McCaslin. It's just the little old soccer coach.
Oh, no, you're big deal, man.
Here we go.
Well, I will say this. Kirby doesn't mind if we just text him. So.
We can text.
Well, there you go.
Dr. Skuvenik doesn't have a problem with it.
We just called him.
But we sort of put you on the spot there, so you can call us later and tell us if it really does bother you.
No. Well, Dr. Skuvenik's probably working on some real complex math problem with his wife or something.
Yeah, I know. That's right.
He welcomes the text message.
He welcomes the break.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you on your 200th win, Coach. That's awesome.
Well, thanks, guys. It was. I didn't even realize that was the day. I don't know how they kept it from me. I wasn't tracking it, and all of a sudden they started announcing it after the game, and I was like, well, "That's pretty cool."
That's pretty.
Do you remember your first win?
I do. I do remember our first win. Yeah, it was fun.
That's the first one. Well, that's good. That's good. Hey, Coach, you're 5-2, right, on the season? Is that right? Am I putting you on the spot again?
No, not at all.
Okay. And here's what's interesting. I know you were probably upset after the Oregon match because Oregon scored a goal, and your other 4 wins, no one had scored. Y'all had shut them out. It's pretty impressive.
Well, what do y'all think about it?
I thought it was great. I mean, y'all's defense is really good.
The defense is coming around. It has. We've made some mistakes, and being young, and those things have been hard for us a little bit, but it's come around. But, man, when the offense gets cooking and Macy Blackburn gets on the field, it's a whole different ballgame.
I know you a little bit. It's not like we're buddies. It's not like but we could be if we were around each other more. But it seems to me like did you call off the Dogs this last game? You scored 5 goals in the first half. And then none in the second half. I thought he's such a kind man that he called off the Dogs.
We did not. We did put in all of our reserves. We put in everybody that needed and deserved a chance to play, and they got to play.
Good.
And that was awesome. But the other team got real conservative. They'd come out really aggressive, played a 4-2-4. 4 forwards is a lot. And if you can break a team that's coming out in that kind of a press, then you get your pathway to goal is pretty easy, and that's what happened in the first half. Second half, they made it more difficult.
Well, when you see that kind of, do you go, oh, good, they're in a
4-2-4?
Yeah, we do like it because if you have a fast team and we played wide real well and got some good counterattacking personalities, and that if you break that line and you take off, it's going to be there for you. So we do kind of like it, but it's also a little bit hairy because it can be impactful. If you're not sharp on the day, it can put you in some trouble. But it didn't bother us, and we never expected to score 5 goals that fast, but sure didn't mind it.
Well, all right. Do you feel like y'all are sounds like y'all are progressing to a pretty good level, or is it the schedule has sort of allowed this to happen, or have y'all really gotten a lot better?
No, we've definitely gotten better. I mean, I know you guys know that we lost 3 of the top players in the Big 12.
Yeah. And
that's just devastating. And in the manner that we lost Sam Courtright, it was like 36 hours before we kicked off at Penn State, which is, number 3 team in the country. So we took a huge hit, and then it had to go into overdrive because now a lot of young players are going to get out there, and now we've got to regroup and decide if we want to even play the same way, kind of strategically. So that was like a punch in the gut. I mean, it was bad. And then, but, these girls are resilient. They rebounded, but we needed to train, and we needed to play teams that we could work on our game with, and that's what happened. And, yes, every week we've gotten better. And the schedule did allow for that a little bit. The two teams we beat on last weekend were not that great, although we did real well. But, Oregon's a Power 4 team with Power 4 athletes, and, I didn't think their game plan was really great against us, but their players were good. Their coaching staff's good. And that was a significant step forward for the Big 12 Stars.
Well, it starts this next week, Coach. That was the last one, non-conference. So here you go. What is it, TCU first?
TCU away, right, in Fort Worth. That's right.
And then back home against Utah? Who is it against?
Yeah, home opener is against Utah. That's going to be great. We've never played them in the regular season, only in the postseason, and we're going to welcome them to the Big 12 if we can.
Yeah, good welcome.
As much as we love our advertisers, we don't want you to have to sit and listen to them, but can we call you back in about 4 minutes?
Yes, sir. I'll be here.
Okay. All right, we'll do that, and we'll finish up visiting with you.
Okay, great. Thanks,
all right,
guys.
Look forward to it.
Thank you,
Coach.
Tom.
Be right back with more Sports Talk with Thetford Ashby and Coach Tom Stone.
Hey, you're looking for the finest dining in this part of the world? Go to Las Brisas Southwest Steakhouse. I'm telling you, it is a phenomenal. Out on 114th and Topeka Avenue is where you'll find it.
Apparently, Shuck had never been to Las Brisas.
No, he's just been out to feedlot. That's where he's been.
Or a couple of dozen other places in Lubbock to eat.
Yeah, great places to eat. Las Brisas it's got great atmosphere. Got the little ponds out there, and they're nice-sized ponds right by the falls. Go there. If you got something special going on, Las Brisas is the place to go. And also, glad to have RE/MAX with us here. Great real estate company here in town, and they're doing good, I think. They're doing really good.
Man. And RE/MAX is great. And the neat thing about RE/MAX is they're owned by local people. And obviously, the people that work for them are local people. They wouldn't be selling real estate in Lubbock, Texas, but they just do a wonderful job out there. Their owners are Tony Lloyd, Scott Toman, Rick Dykes, and like I say, they do a lot in the community, and we're just proud to have them with us. Deborah Kopecki's the director of operations, and Jeremy Reed's director of sales. It's a wonderful bunch out at RE/MAX. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, give RE/MAX a call at 799-4200 and ask for the Thetford and Ashby special.
Yeah, this big special going on out there. All righty. Well, we'll get Coach Stone back on the phone. Is he here? Coach, let me ask you before I forget. How about them Friendship Tigers?
I know, right? Good night last night.
I know it. How'd your boy do?
He did well.
He catch a ball or two?
He did, yeah.
He's really good, Coach. You know how good he is? He's really good.
I wish I'd understood football more than the fans' perspective. So it's hard to gauge your own kids,
Yeah.
It's hard. He's having fun and seems to be good at catching the football. So he's really enjoying it and can't wait to get to Tech.
He's got great footwork, too. Did he get that from soccer?
I don't know. His mom will probably say he got it from her, but yeah, he's a good route runner, they say, and his hands are good and all that. So I think it's fun. It's fun to watch that whole team play. And I'm a big fan of the program and the coaches there. They really do a good job. I mean, I don't know what everybody else's experience is in high school sports, but ours has been phenomenal in that Friendship District. It's been great.
Well, the funny thing is, we're going to have my son's head football coach on our show here in a little while because he was on our very first show. You probably didn't know this. This is our 15th anniversary show.
Oh, congratulations.
That's why we had you on. Nothing but the best on the anniversary show.
Yeah.
But Coach James Morton, and we had an absolute wonderful experience. I'm glad that y'all are having that wonderful experience that you wish all these high school kids could have. And they don't all have that good an experience.
No, it comes down to people. It's just like in any business. It comes down to people.
Exactly.
And they've got great people.
Well, see, I bet you that former Red Raider soccer players all love you because it's been a great experience. You've really built a wonderful program, built a great culture out there.
I appreciate it. Tech was a destination for some quality student athletes long before I got here. And then when Gerald Myers and then followed up by Kirby really wanted to invest in it and give us the resources, it was not hard to get some really top players to want to come to Texas Tech, and then it's just about getting enough good ones here at the same 4-year period so you can have good seasons. And we get Taylor Lytle's going in the Hall of Fame this year. She's the first player I've had that's going in the Hall of Fame. That's special. And then there's a whole lineup of players after her that'll make it in there, I hope and I feel. So I appreciate you saying that, but it's a long, arduous task, because the biggest thing about college when you mention culture is your cultured players, your most cultured players, they walk out the door every year called graduation. Mm. And then your least cultured players come in that other door.
And they got no idea.
No idea. And it's a net loss every, June. Yeah. It's a net loss. And so you kind of start over a little bit, not from scratch, but you got to count on the girls you have that are still there to help that go. And if they don't, and you're fighting uphill by yourself, then it's really difficult to maintain. And but we've got the smartest team on campus. No offense to any of the other teams, but we win that GPA here.
Got the prettiest?
Oh, I don't know about that, but they might say they are. But they're
so you beat baseball even. See, baseball always kind of had they were always the smartest. But y'all
they do, yeah. They're smart that they come to our games. That shows how smart they are.
That's
great.
Good.
That is good. So y'all's GPA.
Tech soccer.
Yeah, Tech soccer.
Well, you talked about those girls that leave when they graduate. The things have changed the last couple of years. They don't necessarily get to graduation. Has that been an issue for y'all? Or is it in women's soccer overall where kids are staying 1 year and then they're hopping ship and going somewhere else and maybe they're hopping ship and coming here? Is that a big deal in women's soccer, or is it a little less?
It's just as rampant. The player movement through the portal is absolutely incredible. 1,400, 1,500 players in the portal at one time last year, I think was the number. But it's there's fools gold out there. You can get all excited and want to build your team in women's soccer in the portal, and you can find out there's a reason they're in that portal. You've got to be really careful that you get the right young lady. She can be good.
Yeah.
We have good, but if she's not the right fit for whoever the program is that's looking, it can be dangerous. And I've had colleagues bring in too many transfers, and then a 30 or 40 year team or transfers. That's hard because you don't have any time. You don't know their families. You haven't gotten to know them now. In one case of a transfer, it was a kid that had broken our heart at one point, and we thought for sure we're going to get her, and she went to the left coast, and then she came back. So we had already known her. We knew her family. We loved her, and so that was an easy pickup for us in terms of making that decision. So we're in there. We keep an eye on it. We've had some really good transfers in. We have not had many, thankfully, out. And I don't think we've had anybody in our starting group transfer out that wasn't a fifth year looking for a graduate opportunity somewhere else. So we've been pretty stable in that market.
Well, you sort of touched upon it there. That the transfer portal to me is good for those kids that aren't starting and probably aren't going to start and aren't going to play much. So the coach wants them to play, but just not on his team.
Yeah,
so y'all go ahead and go to the portal and find you a place to play.
Do you ever encourage them? Have you thought about the portal?
Yeah,
that's a good place.
You got to hurry because you've only got a couple of days left to get in that portal.
Yeah, I think it does happen. I think the best scenarios are when somebody is struggling a little bit with their playing time, and you just bring it up and just let it be an open conversation where there's no hard feelings and no animosity. And then I think the best coaches get on the phone and they help them. They say, all right, where would you like us to make a phone call to? And that really speeds up the process, because if another coach who trusts us gets a call from us, then it kind of helps that process move forward for that young lady. And we've had some success with that, and it's been very helpful. One of my favorite kids ever was Cam Closa. She just wasn't playing much here. Now she's at UTSA back home with her family and scoring goals and having a great run with UTSA. So we're happy. We're so happy for her, and those are the good stories in the portal.
Yeah. Yep. Well, our football team almost got portaled last week.
Because, we almost did.
The team brought in some players, but they brought in our players. So anyway, I thought that
played really good.
It was pretty fascinating to watch that last week, that these kids, and that's the biggest game of their year.
Oh my gosh.
To come back to Jones Stadium and play against the team that they had worked so hard to help. So Anyway.
Yeah, and I think what's missed a little bit on, our fandemonium that we have here, and we love our fan base, obviously, but we're a week to week. 1 week we're going to win the Big 12, 1 week the sky's falling.
It's me.
1 week we're undefeated. I'm going to be undefeated, and we still are. I've still got it. I still think we're going to be undefeated, but anyway, I do too. That's the way I think. I just think we're going to win every game, but.
Well, I believe in Joey and his staff. When you're in the building with these guys sometimes and you get to see them, we have not had we've had hard-working staffs for sure, but I've been through many head coaches now, and these guys have it going on. They're the most relational. They are high IQ guys. They are working their tails off in recruiting. They're going to win here, and I think that game was just the perfect storm. I think that's the best, certainly, ACU team ever. And they were humongous for a team of that stature. That's a really large team, and the dominoes just fell against us at the end, and I loved what Joey said. He goes, look, last year we were up against it, and we came home 0-1. This year we were up against it, we came home, or, we were home, but we came back 1-0, and let's just move on. I felt like it was kind of a Belichick moment, like, let's just go, let's get to Washington State. And once that's over and we hopefully win that game, then we'll be rolling.
Well, I'm looking forward to see how Abilene Christian does this week, because I think they've got a really good team. But, if they go and get beat by Slippery Rock this week, you go, well, maybe not so much. But
that's true.
Yeah.
This time of year, you really don't know what you just beat or what just beat you. You just know,
I just hope ACU has a great year. And everybody looks back and goes, man, that ACU, that was a good win for Tech. Yeah. But anyway, speaking of that, Coach, when you look at the Big 12, which starts next week with TCU, I know Texas Tech is y'all are one of the favorites. We're one of the favorites to win the championship. Who up there in the top 3 or 4 that you're going to be battling all year long?
Well, as the coaches voted it, the preseason poll was BYU, ourselves, TCU, Colorado. Those are the top 4 that the coaches voted. I think losing Sam may have had some people adjust us down a tick or not. I'm not sure how they would vote now. But Oklahoma State has emerged. They're back playing really well. They're 5-0. And some of the other teams that are new are kind of untested, like Utah, we're not sure about. Now, we know about Colorado because they're in our general region. They got a lot of good players. So I think those are the 5 that will decide it. But, Baylor's also having a great year. They beat A&M at home the other night. And the new Baylor coach has got it going on. So that group of 4, maybe 6 or 7 now that could possibly win it. And, with the number of teams we have, like we don't play Kansas and we don't play either of the Arizonas. So you can win the league without actually playing everybody now. And that's kind of odd, but
it is odd. To do it. That is really odd.
But it would be impossible to play everybody.
Yeah. It would.
Would you like to
play non-conference games?
Would you like to break them into
zones or something?
Yeah, like East and West or North and South, have 8 in each one, or are you fine the way it is?
I would love that. I think that would be awesome to have a division that you could win.
Yeah.
And then a conference that you could win, and then a conference tournament that you could win, and then obviously there's all the rounds of the NCAA tournament. Because in soccer, it's like you win your league or you win the national championship. Well, there's no other trophies for you. That just seems kind of weird. So I would love 8 and 8 and play everyone in your deal and a crossover. Right. And then, see what happens. But so right now they're not looking at it that way, which is fine. We'll see how it all falls out. As you guys know, there's a ton happening in college athletics right now.
It doesn't take long for it to happen either. How many conference games do y'all have?
11.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
11.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I would have guessed.
Yeah, makes sense. Nice round number.
Yeah, 11. Well, with the 16,
that might have been the 10th guess I would have had.
With the 16-team conference, we have 11.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
I don't know what's going to happen, Coach. It seems to me, and Gary and I have talked about this, that a lot of the sports, maybe other than football, maybe men's basketball, need to go to regional conferences. All this Utah's going to – that's a long way to go to play a soccer match, isn't it?
It is. It's just logistically, that's also a crazy challenge, because how are you going to talk USC and UCLA's Olympic sports into a lesser conference than the Big Ten that they're now in?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
it's just impossible. I think they've created this mess. So this is just what I've read other times. It actually seems crazy if you go back 5 years, but actually possible. Is I could see the whole thing blowing up. And there's just 64 teams, and everybody's regionally scheduled. You're all in one giant Big 12 SEC, Big Ten kind of a deal, and the best athletic departments have survived this craziness, and everybody's in it. And there's 64 of us, and now you do play regionally, and then there's playoffs to win each championship. I mean, that actually, I would never have thought that, but that actually makes sense.
Now, football could probably be out of that regional talk.
Yes.
But the other sports, I think it just makes perfect sense, because remember, that's what it used to be, is the Southwest Conference was regional.
Yeah.
You know, the Big Ten was regional. SEC still sort of is.
Yeah.
Regional.
It is. Well, it's one of the charms of the SEC, besides all that TV money.
Yeah, that's charming.
That's pretty charming.
But it just, I don't know how it could be done, but it just doesn't make any sense. I guess the scenario could come up where you go to West Virginia for a soccer match, and then you come home and play one, and then you go to Utah for a soccer match. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's not very cost friendly either.
No, it's expensive.
That's why it will change. This is going to change in the next couple of years. It has
I
to.
think so. And this is where we're fortunate. People, geographical location has never been something everyone put on until you get down here. People don't realize how unbelievably awesome our geographical location is. And if this were to happen, some combination of ourselves and Houston and Baylor and Texas, TCU, Oklahoma State. I mean, some combination of all those teams. Those are all Big 12 teams, and we can get to all of them. We could drive or fly to every one of those. Houston's a little far, but it would be cheap and cheaper, and it would be great. And they're all in our league right now, so we would be in a good situation. You mentioned West Virginia, Cincinnati, Central Florida. They'd have to haul. I mean, that'd be tough on them, but it'd be great for us. So we'll be looking forward to it if it happens.
Yep.
Well, it will happen. It's just a matter of how it all shakes out. But money's going to make it happen for all the non-football, and maybe you could throw basketball in there, but maybe not.
Hey, Tom, I want you to know, I just pulled up Hub City Preps. I know you probably look at it from time to time, but there's a really good picture of Leighton in there, a headshot. There he is. You can't see him, but yeah, it's a really good. Randy Rosetta does a great job with that. But Leighton's a bit. How's this Phillips kid working out? He's pretty good.
Oh man, Holden Phillips is the real deal. That dude can throw, and he is so smart. We've spent our entire younger career getting our butts kicked by any team Holden Phillips was on. So we were so happy.
He was in the portal, and y'all picked him up.
That's a good pickup, Coach.
Everything. If you played him in checkers, he would win, and then beat you in ping pong, and then go beat you in the free throw contest. The kid is a winner.
He is.
It's really fun. Him, Chase Campbell, all those guys over there. There's just a real good collection of good kids on that team.
Are you good friends with the Arringtons?
Oh, man. You kidding me? Luke Arrington's my favorite non-friendship football player of all time.
He's something else.
All right, Coach.
Coach, we got 10 seconds. We appreciate you being on. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Tom Stone, head soccer coach, Texas Tech.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
If you want a more comprehensive description, you can always go online. Bednar's, they have a beautiful website and lots of great information, but they do all kinds of insurance and life insurance, homeowners.
Well, that's what I called her about. Is I was talking to an old boy, and I told him what my homeowner, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, that's way too high." And I called Bunny. I said, "Bunny, is this way too high?" She goes, "No, that's normal." So I'm wondering what kind of insurance this old boy has. It's like Acme Insurance or something. It's fine unless
Gowdy.
It's going to be really good insurance unless you need it.
Well,
then you can forget.
Insurance has skyrocketed. I mean, it has skyrocketed in cost. But they can help you. They'll give you great counsel.
That's all the more reason. All the more reason to call Daryl and Bunny and the rest of the bees.
And Daryl's an ag guy. He knows you farmers and ranchers, and he can help you. And he's not going to try to sell you something you don't need. If you may you got insurance. Daryl may say, "That's great insurance you got. Stay with it." That's the kind of people they are. And there's some other good people like this McGavick. Nissan Infinity of Lubbock. Gary and I both got new vehicles lately from McGavick. Couldn't be happier. They handle it with such class. Of course, they knew we were going to talk about them on the radio and the TV.
Yeah. I tell you what I need is somebody to sit down, because these things nowadays can just do so much.
Oh, I can't.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that I don't know 25% of what that car can do.
I know it. Well, I'm coming home last night. Well, it's got that feature on it where it dims its lights and puts them on bright and dims them. I told Randy Dean, I'm riding with him, I go, I didn't never know you needed to dim them and turn them on bright so much as this. It's like all the time. I finally turned it off. I figured out. Oh,
did you really?
Off. I said, this is ridiculous. Of course, I can't go to my car. This is how old school I am. I can't go to my car without reaching in my left pocket for my keys. I do it every single time. I
don't pull them out anymore.
I don't pull them out.
I still put my hand in my pocket.
Put them in the left. So.
We have Coach Glasco on the phone.
Oh, good.
That's wonderful.
Coach Gerry Glasco, thanks for doing this, Coach. We appreciate it. We wanted you to come in so we could meet you, but we'll do that sometime.
Hey, we can do that anytime you need me. One thing we want to do, we want to build our fan base here and make softball, something that the fans and the community is involved with. And
I think
so
you're
whatever
well
we
on
got to
your
do,
way.
and part of it is getting out there meeting people. And so anytime you need me, you call me, I'll be there.
Thought I was going to say, make softball great again.
No. Yeah. I think you're well on your way, Coach. You've done a great job recruiting. #1 transfer class in the country. That's amazing. You've really done a wonderful job getting off and getting it going here. Can't wait to see you play.
Yeah, it's a community and a university effort. It's an athletic department effort. They give me the opportunity to be the head coach here, which is a tremendous honor to be the head coach at Texas Tech and in the Big 12 University. And then the resources that you have at a university like Texas Tech and the alumni, the boosters, the Matador Club, the NIL situation was phenomenal for this year, and that's going to change with the new legislation, but it was a moment in time when Texas Tech had everything set up and right to strike, and they give me the opportunity to be the head coach. So I was a lucky guy that got to be here when we did it, but it was a way more than Gerry Glasco. It was a whole John and Tracy Sellers were huge. Andrea Tyree with the Matador Club, amazing to work with, and of course Kirby and Dee Dee and the administration. They want softball to become great, and they give me everything I need to make it great. And I really believe we're gonna have a team that the community and the fans are going to really enjoy watching play this year.
Well, it's not like you're at a bad place. You're at a wonderful place, and I was just wondering what Kirby said that you'd go, yeah, I'll do that, because you were winning and winning big where you were, and then you said, yeah, I'll come to Tech. What was the selling point?
They want to win a national championship, and I want to win a national championship. And Louisiana is a phenomenal place. It's a phenomenal softball program. We had 1,000 season ticket holders. We play on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. We're going to have 1,700, 2,000 fans there watching, no matter who we played. They love softball there. But with the NIL situation, and now with the new legislation that we expect to be, a head count sport, and 25 full ride scholarship players, mid majors aren't going to be able to compete with the Power Five, in my opinion. And I thought, if you want to keep,
awesome.
I want to win a national championship before I retire. That's my goal. I've won a national championship in travel ball. I've won 3 championships in the professional softball league. And then, I've won junior high state championships. I've been in I've never won a high school as assistant coach. We was runner-up one year, so we've been in the state championships. As a head coach, I want to get to the World Series. I want to win the World Series. And I believe that Texas Tech was the exact perfect place for me to come and get that done. And they've already showed. They give me everything I needed to land a player like Naja Kennedy that was National Player of the Year. I mean, there's no dispute she's the best player in the country. And here's the thing, she's just a junior this year. So we've got 2 years we can enjoy her here at Texas Tech. She's a phenomenal young lady. Like, she's the one that is picking up the trash off the floor of the dugout and putting it in the trash can when practice is over. And she's your National Player of the Year, the Honda Award winner, which is the Heisman Trophy of softball. And, I told whenever we were recruiting her, I said, look, guys, this is like Bo Jackson. If we had a chance to get Bo Jackson his sophomore year,
it is.
How hard would we work? That's how hard we need to work to recruit Naja Kennedy. And I mean, we put an enormous amount of effort into this class. When I got the job, I drove straight for 24 hours. I was over here in my they give me an apartment to live in. I was at the office every morning at 3 a.m., work until about 9. I'd go home, sleep an hour, and I'd come back and I'd work till 9 p.m. and I'd sleep 5 hours. And we went at it for a month like that, and we were able to land this class that is going to, I believe it's going to put Texas Tech University and Texas Tech University softball in a place it's never been before. We're going to make that happen, and I want the fans to come out, and they've already bought season tickets. They're going to be here, and I just want them to see a quality product. When they come to a game, I want it to be as good as advertised.
Well, softball is a wonderful sport. Fast pitch softball. Slow
great.
pitch, not so much, but fast pitch is a wonderful sport. And I think the fans, and a lot of them haven't probably seen a fast pitch game on the college level. They're going to love it.
We're going to need to add on to the stadium, I think, because I think you're going to draw big crowds.
I really believe that. I don't think that the bleachers that we have will hold what we're going to have by the end of next year. The fans, once they see Naja Kennedy and the talent of Maya Davis, the center fielder, I'm telling you, I've watched her for 2 years at Louisiana. The only player I've ever coached that I would compare to her is Caitlin Lowe, who was the leadoff hitter for the United States Olympic team and won the gold medal, silver medal. I mean, she's on par talent-wise with any center fielder that's ever played the game, in my opinion. And then you've got Alana Johnson from Washington, 14 home runs, 345. Also transferred in. Lauren Allred's an amazing hitter. You come out and watch BP, and the first thing you're going to notice when Lauren Allred gets up, you're like, who is that hitting? It's a phenomenal thing watching her hit. And Naja Kennedy's hitting them over the trees behind the second fence, which is 275. And she's hitting them over the trees behind that 275 fence. So I think, one of her big things is she wanted to hit in college, is she wants to be a hitter, not just a pitcher. And so that's what my project this fall, like, how lucky am I as a hitting coach and a head coach get to come to the field every day and work with a phenomenal athlete on her hitting.
How's she like Lubbock, Coach? How does she like Lubbock?
You know what? I think she's like, it's a lot different than Topeka, Kansas.
Yeah.
It's a lot different by far than Stanford University and that area out there, but she's just a blue-collar kid. Like, it's just fun to watch her, and the fans are going to fall in love with her personality as they get to meet her at different events because she's a blue-collar. She doesn't know. Like, she practices and does things around the field like she's the worst player on the team. It's like she's trying to
make the team,
picking up the trash when it's over, and helping unload balls and unbox stuff and score for the slappers. And she's just a great teammate. So it's a fun environment for us right now.
What a bonus that is that she's strung that way, because my thoughts were when we got her to come here, said, I hope she's a good kid and not, because there's a lot of pompous kids out there that, it's about me. So I'm so glad that she's strung the way that she is, Coach.
Yeah, our society, we put these athletes on a pedestal when they're young, which is wrong, and we put them up on a pedestal. And she's had great parents. You don't have to be around her mom very long to realize where she gets this at. And her mom and dad, her dad, now he loves Lubbock, Texas. He fit right in here. But mom is a phenomenal, special mother, and she's raised Naja to be like a servant's attitude and to work hard for her success. So she's, without a doubt, like she's working as hard as anyone on our roster. And we've got 4 or 5 kids like that right now that really understand how hard you have to work if you want to go to the World Series and how hard you have to work if you want to be the elite softball team in the country. And so that's all going to pay off for us in the spring.
Coach, let me ask you this, because you bring in Naja and you bring in all these other players. How do you – part of the job is to mold them all together, and to have camaraderie and have chemistry and to have culture together. And you seem like the kind of guy that's going to really be I just like how you're talking, and I think you're going to be able to do that well.
Yeah, well, I hope so. It's a new challenge. We've got 3 kids. That's all we have, 3 athletes from last year's team. And they're special kids. Demi Eldred is a senior. Logan Hallman is a sophomore and was an all-Big 12 freshman last year. And Reagan Jennings, an all-Big 12 freshman. And those 3 kids also were really hard workers.
Yeah.
When I got here, they're still here on campus. They're still working in the weight room. And they stayed because they want to be a part of a national championship team and a national championship culture. So I also want to, like, really shout out my appreciation for those 3 kids to stay here, to trust me to take the turnover they had. I think Demi's played for 3 coaches in 4 years maybe, and she's been through a lot. And, they all say they want to be a Red Raider. They want to see it to the end, which is some of the players, they even knew Nigel Kennedy was coming, and they still wanted to leave, which that tells you, winning is not a top priority. And that's a good thing, because we need players that winning is a top priority, which is a short way of saying we want to work really, really hard. We're committed to working really hard, because winning is just an offshoot of hard work. And if you don't work hard, you don't commit yourself to hard work year-round, then you're not going to win when everybody's watching. And those 3 kids are also really great leaders in our clubhouse.
So how many do you have on the roster? How many total players?
We've got 21 right now. And
you'll have full scholarship. And now, what did you say about full scholarships a minute ago?
Next year, if the legislation goes through as everybody expects, you expect softball to be a 25-kid sport next year, where 25 kids will all be on full-ride scholarships at the Division I level, up to 25. You don't have to have 25. But that's the way the new legislation is going to go. So, your SEC powerhouse softball programs, your Oklahomas, your Oklahoma States, and I believe your Texas Tech is going to be right in there with a mix of all them right now. That's our intention, to be in the same mix as those programs. So you're going to be able to have up to 25 athletes on full-ride scholarship, and that's going to allow us to get the best athletes in the country. And it's going to make it really hard for the mid-major programs, because there's going to be a lot more of the cream picked off the top. It's going to be harder to get your roster, to that point. That said, there'll be some blue-collar mid-major school that will figure it out and do a great job with whatever they have to work with. But I think that it's set up. It's the perfect time with all the change for Texas Tech to make a move and become one of the top 10 programs in the country. And that's our intention to do that.
Well, I like our chances.
I do too. I think you're in good position. We've already been talking about this. Puts us in the talk for the national championship right up from the get-go. No question.
Yeah,
it's really fun, Coach.
You're going to have the opportunity to if we continue to work really, really hard, and if the kids I got to keep telling them, you can't just talk about winning. You got to talk about what you got to do to get. You want to focus on the key to winning any sport is to focus on the process. And the process is all the hard work that you do on a daily basis to get ready for the games and the competition that's in front of you. And if we stay focused on the process, I firmly believe at the end of the day, we're going to be right there in the mix. When they see the NCAA regional, we're going to be one of the teams they're talking about on Selection Sunday. That will be, not surprising to anyone if you do end up in the World Series. But it all depends on focusing and working every day and, stick to our process. Not worry about winning today. Worry about doing the hard work that we got to do between now and the opportunity comes to win those games.
As Coach Knight always said, everybody wants to win, but fewer want to prepare to win. And that's what you're talking about, to prepare. Hey, Matt Dowdy said you were hunting or something. What are you doing?
I told my wife, of course, my daughter came with me as a coach. She was the head coach at Eastern Illinois, and I was able to convince her to come out here with me as an assistant coach. And we coached together at University of Georgia for 3 years in the SEC, where she was the pitching coach and I was the hitting coach for Coach Lou Harris, one of the greatest coaches that ever coached in college softball, Lou Harris Champer. And so I hey, let's, I'm on the back end of my career. Come with me, and I want my grandsons to be with me. And so I've got 2 grandsons. One's a freshman, one's a sophomore. And I was able to, I had one of the youngest one stayed all night at the house last night. I was able to get him up at 5:30, take him hunting, go out. He got his limit of doves. And I'm back here at the field at 10 o'clock for 10:30 practice. And as I dropped him off at 9:30, I told my wife, I said, this is a definition of success. When you get a practice with a great team, come home, go to bed, wake your grandson up, get him a limited doves, and come back to work and practice with a great team again at 10:30 in the morning. So, we're living. I love to hunt, and this is a hunting. I'll be particular. I like to wing shoot. Anything quail, doves, anything flying, I like to shoot. So this is a great, great area for Gerry Glasco.
You got it. Gerry, we're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here in Lubbock at Texas Tech, and we're glad. Thank you for being on the show today.
Anytime. I appreciate you covering our sport and covering our team and our young ladies, and we're going to work hard to make it a program that you want to talk about.
All righty.
A team that you can be proud of.
Thank you, Coach. We'll be seeing you.
All right.
Gerry Glasco.
All right, I bet you will. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
All right, let's see what else. Joe Hughes, we tried to have him on, but we may try and have him on next week or the week after.
Yeah.
He's going to have some time on his hands.
Is he retired now? Just sitting home watching TV?
Well, we'll be curious to see what he does do.
I know it.
So,
I'd like to know.
Really, really good guy, though. So hope he stays in Lubbock's what I hope.
Yeah, and great for Texas Tech baseball. I know that Coach Tadlock was probably not excited that he was leaving. He was, in charge of operations for a long time, but then he moved into more of a coaching role, and now he's moving out. Wish I'd have known more.
Let's see. I know one thing I wrote down we needed to talk about is Micah Hudson didn't play. I didn't even notice he went on the field, but apparently he did a couple of times.
Yeah.
He slipped out there when they weren't looking. And
he just put himself in.
But no passes, and that sort of people are going, whoa, this is our only 5-star guy ever.
Yeah.
Shouldn't he?
And he's not good enough to play.
But here's my take on it: is if he's as good a kid as it seems like he is, it'll be fine. Let me tell you what: if you get a kid that's not, I went in. I've told this story before. My freshman year, I went in and I retired from the game of baseball. I retired. I just told Cal. I said I went in and quit because I didn't play one of the games against A&M, and I wasn't strung like I hope this kid's strung. But some kids, they come here to play, and if they don't play, they'll go somewhere else and play.
They will.
But I think he's the type kid that he's going to handle it maturely, and when he's ready, the coaches will get him in there, and it's all going to be good because I've heard nothing but good things about him.
I tell you who did play well was Josh Kelly, number 3.
Yeah.
He's the real deal. He's a good player. Barron had a good game. Barron Morton. Taj had a good game. What did he end up with, 150 yards or so? But his shoulders tweaked a little bit. I hope he's okay.
And we're allowed to disagree some, but I think to me, we've got a couple of other running backs that are really good. I don't know that Taj needs to carry the entire load. He's capable of it. He's as good a running back as we've had in years. But also you run the risk every time they do carry the ball. And especially as you get up into the 25, 26 carries.
Yeah.
But hopefully he'll play today. Have you heard anything on that?
I haven't heard if he's in or not, but
yeah,
hopefully he will play.
Yeah, oh gosh, yes. But anyway, we got a couple other good running backs, so it'll be good to see them run it some too. I think that was a disappointing because you think playing Abilene Christian, you're going to get to see a lot of kids, and you want to see a lot of kids. But the game did not allow that. No, it didn't. So anyway.
And you just got to really congratulate Abilene Christian in the way they performed. They played so hard and played so good, and McIver was phenomenal. Yeah. We did not sack him until the last 2-point conversion, and we got him. Thank goodness.
Yeah, and people thought that was a quarterback draw, and I don't. I think that wide receiver
he was trying to throw
on
it.
The left slipped. Yep. And all of a sudden he goes, whoa.
They had no option.
Now what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So it's one of those passes that you're going to throw it quick and be done with it. And then all of a sudden the guy you're going to throw it to is laying or darn near on the ground. And, he just if the guy hadn't slipped, we still wouldn't have sacked him.
No. So that's right.
But I'm so happy for Keith Patterson that he looks like he's got him a really good team, and because he's a really good guy. He was one of the ones hurt with our drunk driver hitting their bus.
Oh, Keith was?
Yeah, he was one of the ones that was injured.
Because he's sitting up front.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The head coach sits in the front seat, and I think another coach and a couple of players were injured. And I tell you what, it's great in theory. We've got them down at that northeast corner where when the game's over, we can zip them right out of there. And when they zipped right out of there, and I'm going to tell you, I've had this happen. It's 25 years ago, 30 years ago. I'm driving down the street, and I'm going through a green light, and all of a sudden this police officer just zips in front of me, slams on his brakes right in front of me. Now, I've got no choice. I either run over a policeman or I lock it down and stop. So I lock it down and stop. And the little lady behind me, Ms. Caruth, and you know who you are, she doesn't lock it down. She runs into the back of me. And I couldn't hardly blame her. I mean, because I had to lock it down. So anyway, I'm just throw this in there. She and her husband wound up quitting their jobs and moving, so they didn't have to fix my car. So I'm a little bitter about it.
It's important to him not to fix it.
But that's what I'm hoping. That's not what happened with this kid, that he's going through a green light. But we've zipped out in there so that the buses can get out of there in a hurry. So I hope that wasn't the case, but I could sure see where it could be.
Yeah,
where they're going, let's get these buses out of here and
stop but you got to get everybody stopped before you get the bus out.
Yeah.
I don't think we have everybody stopped, but.
And what a tough start to that freshman's.
Oh my gosh.
College life.
Yeah.
Have a DWI and hit.
You're a freshman, you get
bus.
drunk, and you're running a bus. That's his start.
Yeah. Have a nice freshman year.
You're in jail.
And you're in jail.
Not good.
And everybody's glad you're in jail.
I know. Nobody likes you.
Yeah. So anyway.
And they put your picture on TV. They did.
Coach Patterson was one of the ones that was hurt and all, but we love him, and we sure hope that they're as good as we think they might be. Because if they're not any good, that's not a good sign. I think they're extremely good, and I think they were extremely motivated.
Nehemiah Martinez had a great game. And boy, as I watched him out there, I was going, man, I wish he was still here.
Mm-hmm. I liked him when he was here.
Yeah, I did. He's a good athlete. Had a great career at Lubbock Cooper.
It is so hard, and especially a sport like football where there's so many players. It's really hard to go somewhere and have it work out.
Yeah,
where you're not looking at the portal to go somewhere where it works perfectly. You go and you play and da. But it's hard for that to work out.
Isaiah Kelly, who played at Coronado, Coach Kelly's grandson, is there, and it was fun. There was some pictures around of those guys, John Curry, who's at Tech, and Charlie Robinson, who's at Tech, with Isaiah. Those are all Coronado guys. It's fun for those guys to get to see each other and the camaraderie. And I saw Barron with McIver after the game, and they were having a good talk. And
well, I really wished we had Abilene Christian on the schedule, because we're going to play a team of that caliber. Yeah. Especially if we're going to have 7 home games, there's going to be a couple of those thrown in there. And they're good enough to give you a good game, obviously, but they're also right here. They're handy.
Yeah. I think what did Keith tell us? I think Coach Patterson told us that not next year, but the year after, they're coming back again.
Yeah, and then that looks like that'd be it for a while. But hey, the whole world will have changed here in a couple of years to where they may be in the conference with us. So we'll just have to see what happens here in the next couple of 2 or 3 years. And
they got a great stadium down there. I've been there many times to do games, but it's not, it's like a tenth, not even a tenth of what Tech had. I mean, it's really pretty and it's really nice, but the seating's not, it's just, I bet they were in a sold-out crowd. Way to go, fans. My gosh, what a crowd we had out at the game.
Yeah.
And your support, and I appreciate your support. And most of y'all are supporting, and most of you are not bad-mouthing and fire everybody and doing all that. But we've got those, and they've got a voice now because they can get on the internet.
Yeah. But I think everybody realizes there's a handful of those out there, and they seem like they're a couple of handfuls because they're very,
very vocal.
Demonstrative. Is that a good word?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Word of the day. So far,
and they
still got a couple
hours. And I understand your frustration, and I know that you're thinking, well, we were up 22-7. Let's keep rolling. Let's make it 44-14. Let's make it 64-21. Final score. Everybody had been happy, but Abilene Christian they're no slouch. And I just say you watch the rest of the year and see what ACU does, and I bet they have a good year.
Here's our predictions for last week for the game. The score. We did a score. All right. Let's see, Rodney did 52-10. I did 52-21. You did 48-7. So we had the tech part of it figured out pretty good.
Yeah.
Because we scored 52 points.
Yeah.
Exactly what Rodney and I picked, and darn near what you picked. But the other side of it, I had Abilene Christian scoring 21 just because.
I didn't want to pick 52 because I didn't want to be a bobo like you and Rodney being there picking 52.
Yeah. But it was the obvious choice, 52.
I know it. I knew it was, but y'all picked first. So I didn't feel like I could pick it.
Okay.
But I really thought that we would beat them badly, and I thought wrong. Yeah. And when I saw that, when I was watching the game at the first part, when I was sitting there watching it, I go, I think I picked this way wrong because they look like they can play a little, and they could.
Well, even my 52-21, that ain't close. That's not a close.
No. You thought we were going to beat them pretty good.
Well, that's 30-point win. I mean,
yeah.
But I did. I didn't go to the game, and I didn't go because my wife was in Steamboat Springs for the Alderson Crawford wedding. So since she wasn't going to go, I didn't go. Not that we never don't do things apart, but obviously she was in Steamboat and I was here, so we do things apart. But I gave my tickets to my kids and grandkids, and they had a ball. Said it was just a wonderful environment. Of course, we had a perfect day for it too. Mm-hmm. That helps when you're not out there shivering or sweating or getting rained on. We had the perfect day for it. But
it was a great atmosphere and a great crowd.
Great atmosphere.
Great crowd. And the stadium, of course, just looks beautiful. What a great job of getting that south end zone looking. It's impressive.
Yeah.
It is impressive.
Yep. By golly. Oh, and okay, we're going to do pick 'em again this week, and we're going to wait till Rodney's on the phone with us. But here, I'll give you the game so you can be looking at them. And
yeah,
I'll take a picture and send it to Rodney, but he's still asleep.
You think? Yeah. There are some good games this week. I pulled up the games because, this time of the year, you're just going, man, there's not that many good games. But Texas-Michigan is probably the highlight game that everybody's looking forward to. Should be a good matchup between those two teams. And they play at 11 o'clock this morning on Fox. 11 used to be like, that's kind of like the prime game.
Yeah. I don't know why it's the prime game, but it's one of the best games. The nighttime, but the 2:30 games and those aren't necessarily
No.
It's usually the 11 and then the 6:30 or whatever.
Yeah. But we got Baylor and Utah play today, and Utah's favored in that game. Is UT favored by 4? Is that?
I don't know. Is that what I wrote down?
Yeah, that's what you wrote down. So
I think UT's supposed to be good. I mean, they're 4th in the nation.
Well, they're playing at Michigan.
Yeah.
Who's 10th in the nation.
Yeah.
And it was the defending national champion.
I'd almost look at that as like a pick 'em, but whatever I looked at for the lines, they had Texas favored.
Iowa State, Iowa. Seems like Iowa always wins that game.
Yeah. It's sort of like Iowa State Tech. Seems like Iowa State. Or is it Kansas State we have trouble with?
Kansas State.
Yeah, Kansas State.
We didn't used to have trouble with them. But boy,
and that'll flip-flop again.
Hopefully.
Of course, we don't play them this year.
All right. I got it.
Got it?
We don't have that many to pick because there's not that many good games. But I'm surprised that Texas is favored by 4.
Well, maybe.
At Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they're not.
The big house. Maybe they're not.
That's what I wrote down.
That's what we're.
I don't know where I got that, but anyway. There's enough good games, and that's the thing about the new 12-team playoff deal. Teams can play. Texas can play Michigan. You can't have games like this, and you can lose them, and you're fine.
Still getting the playoffs.
You're not done. You can still lose another game, and you're fine. I don't know that there'll be a 3-loss team in the 12-team playoff, but if it's an SEC team, you might.
Good.
Because they're certainly going to be leaning toward the SEC, no doubt about that. And that's another deal that came up in conversation is that I really strongly feel that, and I've never been like this, that we need to have this conference. Like I was for BYU against SMU last night. Do I like BYU better than SMU? No, but they're in our conference, and at least for a couple of years, we got to get this conference looking like it's got hair on its chest, because the rest of the world thinks this is, a pitiful little conference. I mean, they do, and we've got.
It's so pitiful.
And beating SMU is not a great feat or anything, but losing to them would be.
Yeah.
Just like if we'd have lost last week, that just fuels the fire.
Well, everything's Big Ten.
Conference.
Everything's Big Ten and SEC.
And it's going to be.
That's all they're talking about.
Until we, as the Big 12, start knocking some of those people off.
Yeah.
And it can't just be Tech. It's got to be some of these others have got to do it too, for us to feel like we're right there with them. Because I don't feel like we're right there with them right now.
No.
We lost Texas and OU. My gosh. You can't lose that and think you're just as, still the cock of the walk.
I think Georgia maybe ought to have their own conference, just them in it.
Well,
they handled Clemson like they were nothing.
Yeah, they did. And I tell you what, Clemson is one of those schools that doesn't really believe in the portal.
Yeah.
Old
school.
And I think old school, it's really sort of like our baseball last year. We weren't really into the portal yet. And I think that's one of the reasons that it didn't go that well, because we lost a couple of kids in the portal, and we didn't replace as much as we lost. But now I think we're on board and all that, and we're going to get back to baseball being great again. But we took sort of a year or two off.
Yep. Bill Bope texted Arkansas and Oklahoma State, and it's on our list. And that's one of the other good games today. And Oklahoma State's favored by 7.5 or something like that.
Yeah. And there you go, guys. You don't have to like Oklahoma State, but I think you need to pull for them.
Yeah.
Because that would be a Big 12 over an SEC.
We need to win that.
I think we do.
Yep.
That's just me.
Big 12 wise.
Right.
Like to be a we with Oklahoma State, but that is Bowman.
You've been listening to the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live Saturday mornings from 9 to noon on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.